W.
All right, back with Eddie and Tracy talking self-defense, Trace. Now you took how many years of training when you were a kid?
You know what? I think it's so important to learn something about self-defense, and I don't care if it's karate or judo. I trained, as Ed said, trained 4 years with Hoist Gracie in Torrance, California. Got my purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, I mean, this was back when Hoist was nothing. Hoist Gracie, if you don't know who Hoist Gracie is, Hoist won the 3 first Ultimate Fighting Champions. Mm-hmm. And we used to train in a little garage with a mat in Torrance, California, with about 20 of us guys. John Saxon, the actor. Remember Meat from Porky's?
Yeah.
Remember the big guy?
Totally.
He was one of the guys.
Oh, I remember John Saxon also being doing the karate.
Yeah, he was always talking about karate.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that was something. But just giving you the self-confidence and just knowing that, it could save your life. And I'm not talking about beating someone's ass, just making sure that maybe you hold on till you get help. But if you've got kids, you got to get them into something. Something where, if someone's picking on them, that they can defend themselves.
Well, my kids did that. And they got their black belt, little kid black belt, but, they went through the whole process. And, I felt really good. I was very proud of them.
I don't even think it matters what age. You could be a young kid, you could be 5 or 6 years old, or you could be, in your 50s, just learning a little something.
Well, let's talk about this guy who knows a little bit about this. Leibel, how you doing?
Good, how are you? Thanks for having me on.
Leibel Mangel, welcome to the program. And you have, how recently have you come back to town? Because you're from here originally, right?
Yes, I was born and raised here. Actually went to Sycamore High School, played football for Sycamore. And when I graduated, I decided I wanted to serve over in Israel. Did my service there, and I've been back now about 9 months.
Leibel, talk about the Israeli form of self-defense.
Okay, so that system is called Krav Maga, which is what we teach here at Cincinnati, Krav Maga. It was created, obviously, in Israel for the military, which was more of a, not necessarily a self-defense, but let's say my weapon jams and I'm face-to-face with an enemy, how to go ahead and eliminate that threat. So what we've done here is take those same aspects and use it in a civilian way. So we're not necessarily trying to eliminate the target, but more eliminate the threat to hold off until help comes or to hold off until we can run away, things like that.
Is it something where you almost want to get the jump on who's attacking you, reacting first before they do anything to you?
That's a great point. I think that's something that I learned in the military and something that I'm trying to instill in the students here is situational awareness. You can know all the self-defense in the world, you can know all the techniques in the world, but if you don't see it coming, your techniques may not help you. A few weeks ago, we had that tragic incident with the TV reporters, and I think that was a perfect example of sometimes we're too focused on what we're doing and we're completely unaware of our surroundings, and that can lead to problems.
But how would you have defended that? I mean, if you're the reporter, I mean, it's kind of tough when someone has a gun, isn't it?
You're just
no, definitely. I think one thing that we make sure to tell our students as well is we're not making you superheroes. We're not making you, we're not turning you into James Bond or anything. There are specific gun techniques to disarm gunmen, but even the awareness to realize that something's going on, to try to run away if we can. Obviously, there's nothing that's foolproof or nothing that's 100%, but to definitely be aware of your surroundings at all times.
Leibel, can I ask you to hang on for 30 seconds? We got a traffic and weather break here. Leibel Mangel is with us talking about Krav Maga. Now, Bruce, this sounds like something you and I ought to get involved in.
Yeah, it sounds like worthwhile.
We could spar out in the hallway.
There we go.
You know what? You take that stuff, I'd still like to beat your ass, Bruce.
Come on down the hall.
Okay.
I guess Sergeant Leibel Mangel from you're a Special Forces Sergeant, right, in the Israeli Army, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So, Krav Maga, describe this discipline. How is it different from the others? Karate, judo, etc.
We get that question a lot. One thing I like to say is that I don't say that my system is necessarily better than your system or that your system is no good. I think all forms of self-defense are very useful.
I agree.
How Krav Maga differs, it's not meant for competition, so there's no rules, right? I mean, if someone puts a knife at my throat in a real-life situation, there are no rules I have to abide by. You put a knife at my throat, you're fair game. So we can go to the eyes, go to the groin, go to the throat, whereas in some of the other techniques, it's more meant, some of the other martial arts, it's more meant for competition where there's set rules and things like that.
Leibel, let me ask you about women and
Yes.
being attacked. What is, as far as your self-defense and how you teach women, how should they defend themselves?
Right. I also get that question a lot. It's something I've thought about as well. I mean, if a 300-pound man attacks a 150-pound woman, you don't like those odds, right? I actually heard a good analogy recently. If you have a large man with a cat in his hands and he tries to choke the cat, although much smaller, is going to scratch and claw and do whatever he has to do to get out. That's something that we like to do at our school is, as well as the techniques, just instill in our students that we don't give up and we scratch and claw and fight until we can get away. And another thing is a lot of attackers, just if you display that confidence or you show them that you have knowledge in something, they don't want to deal with that. So they might turn around and try to find someone else or anything like that.
You know what, Leo? That's an important point. I mean, if you walk around with your chest out, looking around with your head up, showing a lot of confidence, guys are going to pick on other people. There's easier pickings out there.
I mean, that's what bullies do. Bullies are cowards. They look for the weak. So even just knowing for yourself that you have that knowledge, you walk around with your head high. A bully or someone who's out to get you will see that right away and we'll go somewhere else.
And Leibel, it's never too late to learn self-defense, right? Because we had a guy here, Jim Scott, who actually got his gray belt.
No, of course not.
It was honorary, of course, but he got it.
I never saw a gray belt before, but Jim got one.
Neither have I. Maybe he knows something I don't.
Yeah.
No, but we have Krav Maga, which is geared for kids all the way. I mean, we have guys well up in their 50s and 60s as well. I mean, you never know when that situation might arise. Obviously, the hope is that it never does, but you want to be prepared if that situation does come your way.
But, Leibel, you know what? You say, well, maybe it'll never come about. I cannot tell you how many times I was involved in an altercation from a little kid all the way through, being a grown-up. And one thing that I liked is,
you were
I know, but I was always kind of proud because I always stuck up for myself. Sooner or later, you're going to run into a situation where you're going to need to defend yourself. Don't you agree? Or you're going to have to turn your back and walk away like a wimp.
100%. I think it is an issue. Everyone thinks, oh, that will never happen to me. That will never happen to me. I mean, even from my personal experience, obviously serving overseas and fighting wars and all that stuff, I came back to Cincinnati and was like, well, nothing can never happen to me here, right? I'm safe here. And I was actually downtown and had a little incident where two people tried to attack me. So things like that. You never really know.
Okay. Leibel Mangel, discuss that. What happened?
Yeah.
I was downtown and actually saw two guys beating up on a woman. So I just had an instinct. I tried to break it up and they turned on me. And again, as a civilian, we don't want to hurt anyone too bad, but just defuse the situation as best we can until help comes. And that's what happened.
But, Leibel, it's tough. I mean, you talk about, having an altercation with two people. I don't care if you're Bruce Lee or Chuck Norris or Horace Gracie. If you got two guys that are 200 pounds coming at you, there's really no defense, is there?
100%. And I feel like I mentioned before, we're not trying to become Bruce Lee or anything like that. Actually, one of them realized that he was dealing with someone who was going to fight back, and he took off. And the other guy stuck around and they were cops came.
I'm assuming he absorbed an ass whipping.
A little bit. It wasn't his day, that's for sure.
So describe. So how long did you serve with the Israeli army?
So unlike America, where the service is 4 years, in Israel it's 3. So immediately after, I finished high school. I enrolled at UC before deciding I wanted to go there and serve, and that's what I did. And
you were in Special Forces, correct?
Yes, my unit specialized in urban combat and things like that. Urban combat, close quarters combat.
Leibel, I could be mistaken, but I think they're teaching this form of self-defense with LAPD.
No, you're 100%.
Am I right on that?
100%. I mean, it's becoming very popular in the West Coast. It's slowly moving this way with police forces, SWAT teams, things of that nature.
So how do you know Rocky Boyman?
Rocky's my guy.
Rocky, I didn't even know you were going to be on the show. Rocky texted me yesterday. He goes, "Hey, you're going to have one of my guys on tomorrow. He's a great guy."
Yeah, but Leibel, that's a perfect example of a guy that needs self-defense
Right.
because he's a fire crotch, right? Everybody makes fun.
People are going
of
to pick
someone
on him
with red
because he's
hair.
got the red hair.
Yeah.
He looks like...
So he's 6'5", 240, but that's a different
But he also
story.
looks like Andy Dalton, so a lot of people are going to
I was
pick on
going
him.
to say that's why he would need it, because people mistake you for Andy Dalton.
He hates that too, by the way.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, seriously, it must be nice to be 6'5" and 240 because not a whole lot of messing's going to go on there.
I would not know what that's like.
Leibel, we appreciate you talking to us. People want to find out more about what you do. Where can they go?
Yeah, Cincinnati KravMaga.com. Krav Maga is KravMaga.com. Or on Facebook at Cincinnati Krav Maga. We have a 90-minute introduction class, which I would definitely recommend to come see a little bit what our system is about. You can find that information on the website, or you can give us a call at 513-792-9610.
Leibel, one more question. If someone's coming at you, what's the one thing you should attack? Is it the throat? Is it the groin?
The Krav Maga's favorite spot is definitely the groin. I don't care how big or how small you are. If you get hit there, it's going to stop you in your tracks. Like I said, the Krav Maga, there are no rules because in a real life situation, there are no rules. So really just whatever works. But definitely the groin is a spot that will stop anyone.
And I know you said it earlier, but how young do you start?
We have a program geared for kids. It's more of instilling that confidence and less with techniques, telling them that if a situation comes up, it's all about fighting until you can, screaming for help, things like that of that nature. And go all the way up to teen program adults,
All right.
so all ages.
Leibel, we appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, bud.
Take care. So, yeah.
Do you remember, because I was very proud of him, when Luke took wrestling? Remember how fired up I was? I mean, at least he got a little taste of it, because wrestlers are tough. Grapplers are tough, because remember, if you want that fight to go to the ground, it'll always go to the ground. You can shoot. I wish you would have stayed with it. I know it was tough for him,
Yeah.
but I really
He's too
respect
gang-
that.
He's too
That's all
gangly
right
now.
You know what? I respect him for even trying it.